Get off the topic of Jeff Epstein. That's all you guys ever talk about. Talk about issues that matter. What?
I want to be vulnerable for a second. I came outside to take a break and just breathe some fresh air. It's nice outside. And I try to regularly reflect on my time, like when I was MAGA. And one of the things that I thought of today was when people ask me, like, what even got you into MAGA in the first place? And I've talked about this. Like, I gave my reasoning and understanding for what got me into the cult. And it's not a good enough answer for everybody. Some people understand, some don't. But I want to say that me falling into MAGA at 20 years old, not only was I very impressionable, I had just gone through the military. My mind was already broken, had been broken down. I was surrounded by MAGA. But me personally, I chose to vote for Donald Trump the first time because I was just not smart. I didn't try to educate myself. I was okay with the bigotry that was being spoken by my community, by the people I knew. If, like I've said before, I didn't really pay attention to Donald Trump, but a lot of it I can't even remember. So if I did hear Donald Trump, I just know that I would have been okay with it. Okay. So I just wasn't a good person. And that's like the point blank answer. Like, I can give all the reasons. Like, I was vulnerable, I was impressionable, I was raised a certain way, which, I mean, I was, it's all true. But ultimately it comes down to the fact that I only cared about myself. I didn't have empathy. And I've explained before that empathy was, hypothetically beat out of me in my upbringing. The military beat the empathy out of me too. But I digress. Again, it just comes down to me not being a good person. And the point of me even saying this is that, like, the people who are still in MAGA are not good people. Even if, like, at the surface, like, let's say they do things for their community, or, like, they're church going, good old folk, like, you know what I'm talking about. Ultimately, they're not good people because of how they vote. Because they support a man like Donald Trump. Because they support an ideology like MAGA. And we can sit here and try to understand the psychology of all of it. And I still continue to dive into it just to have further understanding. But it literally, no matter what the circumstances, you're not a good person if you're in MAGA. Whether that was from 2016 to 2020, or 2020 to 2024, or 2024 to now. Like, whatever it is. And I'm not saying, like, the people who voted 2016 one time and then was like, oh, fuck, immediately. Like, I'm not talking about those people. I try to have hope in humanity, but there's just really a lot of bad people. And I was one of them.
I thought it would be easier the more I talked about leaving MAGA, being a 3-time Trump voter. But I have to be completely honest with you that it's not getting easier, and it actually feels like it's getting more difficult because I'm gaining more empathy. And I don't think people really realize how counterintuitive the hate that I receive when you can take one look at my page and see that I am doing the work. I read a comment this morning that I'm not stitching because I don't want hate to come our way. But You'll understand why I'm reading it. I've been deconstructing from Christianity and left MAGA. I do not speak about it because the hate you receive from the left is no different from the hate you received when you were in the cult. I'm just minding my own business and rewiring my whole belief system. What people don't understand is how hard it is to actually wake up and realize your entire life has been a lie, and now you have to start over from scratch. I'm not going to allow any negativity from anyone into my life. It's hard enough to do this. I can't see. I had to stop and gather myself. Not only that, I'm not going to be a part of any political party or religion ever again, so the expectation of the left thinking we have to vote blue now in order to make amends or something is not something I want to be a part of. The amount of "I'll never forgive you" I see in your last video is enough for me to never try to speak up on anything that's happened to get me here. My entire family is deep Southern conservative Christian Republicans. It's been buried into my whole system since birth. Seeing my truth and removing myself from it has been the hardest thing I've ever done. I don't really know what else to say other than, I don't think that this is what the left wants. You've been shouting for people to wake up for years, and people do. And you just want to harp on, and I get it, that it didn't happen soon enough. And I don't believe that. I can't believe that. I have too much hope in my soul to roll over and die. I don't know what the solution is, but I know it's not to beat people while they're already down.
I mean, 2 weeks. I'm done. You want to talk about regretting your vote?
I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump, and I regret it now.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump.
I voted for Donald Trump, and now I regret it.
A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that.
I regret voting for Trump.
So deeply regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret voting for Trump.
I was a dumbass, voted for Trump. It was the worst decision I ever made.
I've seen the light, and I got out of MAGA. A lot of us there have seen the light. We have deep regrets.
I feel guilty because I voted for Trump twice. I feel very guilty because I feel responsible. That's why he's still running.
I was with Trump for 9 straight years. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Trump right now.
I thought it would be easier talking about leaving MAGA as a 3-time Trump voter than it is, but some of y'all are really mean. And I get this was me this time last year, but that doesn't matter because, again, my feelings matter. Yours never mattered. The level of hate I'm getting is unreal. People telling me to have accountability, to put the work into my community instead of coming on the internet and crying for myself. You just don't get it. So much for the tolerant left. You guys are exactly how the right describes you. How do you not get that this shit is hard?